our starting point here is the RCJ. So this is kind of the heart of where justice is. Obviously, things are changing pretty rapidly, but are we going to still be ending these courts in person in 50 years' time?
It's a good question. I think that the criminal cases, I think you should still, at least towards the end of the trial, they should still be there in person. I think there's a separation for a video screen that seems to me sort of almost unfair to whoever's in the dock. I think that all the participants in the trial, judge and so forth, should be able to actually see each other face to face. As to the rest of the technological landscape, well, I think that probably will change.
Yeah, I definitely kind of think about courts as where crime happens, where family. That's the vast majority of commercial disputes. So in your mind, you have this sort of slice of very human kind of cases, and then you've got other.
Yeah.
To automate the rest.
Well, I don't think we should automate the whole thing, obviously, but as we were just discussing earlier, I think the fundamental challenge is that it's both a very human and it's also a very process-driven exercise. There is so much documentation, there is so much data to handle, and technology is simply not being used at scale in both cases. So costs go up because you're using very talented, very brilliant people, both young and old, to handle work matters that really should be automated, or at least majority automated. And that's one of the reasons why we have an access to justice problem.
I think it's so interesting being here in sort of legal London, where the built environment is built for that paradigm of human rights. Have amazing legal shops. You've got the chain.
The wig shops.
The wig shops.
Yeah.
But, the thing I get interested in is, I think it's a sort of no-brainer that there should be digitization of justice, and there should be probably the use of AI as co-pilots, help judges their job faster, help those involved. I think more and more out of autonomous decision making, AI agents and outcomes.
Yeah.
I kind of get curious what that will actually mean in the justice sense for those that slice of cases that are commercial and non.
Well, I think there's two schools of thought. One is let's go and automate the entire thing, right down to the decision, right down to the judgments. Another school of thought would be that's the only bit we should not do, and we should try and automate everything else. So anything that's process related, anything that's volume related, anything that doesn't actually result in itself in an automated decision, but simply provides human lawyers with the right materials and the right insights for their judgment.
Well, this is something we hear a lot from it's premise that legal delivery, the stuff, the means, emails, contracts, so on. You take the assumption that will be automated in some time frame to a full level. What are you left with? And people say, well, judgment. It's never going to be replaced. But
it could be.
Is that right?
Well, it could be replaced if you wished it to be. I mean, we could do that right now. If you wish to do that, I think that would be a bad idea.
Yeah.
I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that. Because you're then handing over critical societal decisions, even if it's a single decision, but it's part of a greater whole, to a piece of software which a private company has built. Yeah. And then you have to ask yourself, well, what about the biases involved? Who owns this company? Do they have their own interests here? Are they affiliated with a particular political party, a particular set of ideas? And then we start to get into some pretty scary territory. So personally, I think use AI automation in everywhere that makes sense, but leave the judgments to humans.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we're guilty of it. Juro, generally speaking, enterprises who are kind of well-funded, sometimes think the administration just concentrates on those kind of elite hands. You've got large corporations or firms. Part of legal London, there's people making huge amounts of money. It's a huge industry. But the other side of that is the long tail of disputes that either go unsolved, lack of know-how fund.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a bit about legal aid and how that is kind of narrowed and narrowed.
Mm-hmm.
What would artificial intelligence actually access?
Well, it's
where actually?
well, I think in many ways. First of all, it could help with sort of pre-litigation phase, when potential litigants are gathering information, gathering understanding, being able to actually understand the lay of the land much more rapidly, and actually get better insights into what they're considering doing. That might help. That actually might help make some people decide not to go down that road and not get in those areas. Then, obviously, for people with limited means, encouragement to get into mediation and arbitration, if it was able to, for the cost to be brought down. Which again, we keep coming back to this point that you don't necessarily have to automate the final piece, the critical piece, which is the judgment, to greatly reduce the cost of access to justice. You just need to have an impact on everything else.
The low-hanging fruit.
And it's the low-hanging fruit which makes up the bulk of the case, doesn't it?
So much.
The creation of all these thousands and thousands of pages inside these folders, the digesting of all this information, the huge quantities of case law research and so forth.